Good morning, students. Today we are going to study the topic consumerism, which is a part of the subject marketing management. First of all, we will go for the definition. What is consumerism? Consumerism is evolving set of activities of government, business, enterprise, independent organization, and consumer that is designed to protect the right of the consumer. So, what is consumer all about? It is activity which is around protecting the consumer rights, that is rights of safety, right to be heard, right to be informed, and right to protect it. So, different rights which is being designed for consumer safety, consumerism is there to protect them. Now, what is the need which arises the consumerism in India? Actually, it is a movement which was started in 1960 in Japan, but it spread out in different countries of the world. Let us discuss what is the need of consumerism in India. First, the market of India is dominated by traders. So, traders is still influencing the market in which different type of consumer interest are being hampered out by the traders. Second thing, Indian consumers are backward in nature. It means they are not known about what are the rights they are having and how they can be protected. So they can easily be cheated. Next point is consumers are illiterate. We know that India is majorly having a population which is not literate. So nearly about 35 to 40% of the people are still illiterate, and definitely to cheat the illiterate people is quite easy as compared to literal or educated people. Next point of need is poverty. India is definitely not a rich country. Still, many of the people living in the country are living below the poverty line. So the issue is here that poverty is linked with consumerism. How it can be? So poor people are uneducated. They are not literate, so they can be cheated easily. So poverty is also connected with the consumerism, that poor people can be cheated more as compared to rich people because they are lacking the information about the particular product or rights. Next is consumer are lethargic in nature. Indian consumer are lethargic in the nature. What do you mean by lethargic? They are not responsive. They are not active. They think that some other person will do this thing on behalf of me. I should not take the initiative. Next is government cannot impose compulsion. In India, we can see our legal system is not foolproof. It is lacking something which should be modified. But the question is that government is not imposing any compulsion on the companies to provide particular type of product, particular type of service, particular quality of services. So the companies are taking the benefit of this compulsion. Next is balance between the development and social welfare. Indian is definitely not a developed country. So development is to be done, but development should not be done at the cost of the social welfare. Now the consumerism, when we are talking, their companies are polluting too much, they are hampering the national interest. So we can say that development should not be at the cost of the social welfare. Next is lead to safety, equality and fairness in business transactions. Consumerism aims safety of all the consumers. We have talked right to safety. Whatever the product you are using should be safer for you, for your family, for your neighborhood, for the country at large. It should be equal. Equal in the sense that all the product which is designed should be equal for each and every consumer, which are paying the equal price for the product, but it is not found in practice. Fairness in business transactions. The business transactions are not fair at all, and each and every company are not going the fair business transaction. They are doing unfair means. They are adopting unfair means for doing the business to increase the sale of the goods and commodities. Next, India has become global market now due to the LPG policy adopted by the government. The globalization has also impacted India too. But there are ill effects of globalization too. The countries are adopting the dumping policies to sell their inferior, outdated, and ill-affected goods to the country which are not able to afford quality goods and high price goods. So it is very necessary to protect them from consumerism. Unethical means to sell the goods and services to the consumers. The companies are adopting hooks and crooks. They are using ill effect techniques and tricks to sell the goods to the consumer. Unethical here means okay, they are not adopting the fair means to sell the product in the market. Next is growth of science and technology. Due to the advancement in science and technology, now latest product, complex product, technologically advanced product are there in the market. Advanced medicines are there in the market, but the question is, okay, will they hamper the consumer safety or not? Are they playing with the health hazard of the consumer or not? It is to be taken into consideration. Next is public sector with monopoly. In India, we are having a majority of the business is still dominated by the public sector, and public sector is controlling that particular segments and they are having the monopoly in it. Take the example of railway. We can say railway is in the position of monopoly, but what happens? Okay, even though the particular business is not provide particular type of services, that is qualitative service, you can imagine the difference between the public sector and private sector. You can imagine the services of the SBI and HDFC. You can imagine the services of Mahasagar Travels and ST. So you will find that public sector are not performing well because they are in the position of monopolies or they are exploiting the consumer. People are taking the tickets in the railway, but still they are not able to get the seat. They are not able to get the hygienic traveling facilities. Now we have discussed the need. Now the next point of discussion is reasons for failure of consumerism. First reason for failure of consumerism is what? Lengthy, tedious, and less reliable legal procedure. We know okay, India is a very big country followed by huge population of nearly about 130 crores, and in India we are having the legal system, but huge amount of cases are still pending in Indian judicial system. So the people think, okay, whenever we are going to file a case upon the company, and when will be the result? Sometimes years and years are being passed for getting the results. Next is it is not reliable because we have heard about this thing in movies and news too. Okay, legal procedures are less reliable in India as compared to other countries. Next point is lethargic consumers. We have discussed few minutes ago this point. Okay, Indian customers are lethargic. They are thinking that we should not do anything. They are not responsive at all. Reasons are many. They are having the lack of education, they are having poverty, and they are not ready to take the action against the consumer. Even though they feel that they are cheated, they have paid the price, but they have not get the goods or services in a proper way, but still due to the lethargic nature they are not ready to take the actions. Next point is inadequate role of voluntary organization. Voluntary organization in India are just an image creator, nothing else. They are not doing their role very well in the market. They should protect the consumer interest, but they are not doing anything for the consumer's interest. Next is poverty. Due to poverty, what we have discussed in few minutes ago also, okay, poverty is also a reason of failure of consumerism in India. Due to poor people, they are not able to afford the legal process. They are not able to go for the case against the company or the service provider, and due to that the company feel that nobody can do anything against us. Next is lack of patriotic attitude of the seller. We know okay, Indian sellers are not patriotic as compared to other nations because they are cheating. What does it mean? They are cheating the people of the nation. Means they are thinking that they are not dealing with the national people, they are cheating the international customer. This is not happen, or this should not be happen in India. Next point of discussion is shortage of goods and services, and it will lead to monopoly. In India, we know it is a huge country having large population, and definitely it is not possible for any company to cater the needs of the large population. So due to that, the shortage of goods and services is there in the market throughout the year. So the company who are manufacturing the particular goods are taking the advantage of the situation and creating the monopoly. They are creating the artificial scarcity, and due to that they are charging the high price of the product. They are selling the inferior goods to the consumer, because they know in shortage the consumer will be ready to purchase whatever they will give to them. There is a fault in LPG policy too, due to the adoption of the LPG, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. It is not done systematic way in India, and due to that some loopholes are there in the system, and it is leading to failure of consumerism. Poor role of the public sector. We know that public sectors are making losses. They are not reliable, their services are not reliable, they are not answerable, and they are not responsible at all, and due to that consumerism fails in India. Failure of the government to implement the law. In India, we know that law are there, but the implementation of the law is very difficult in India. It is difficult to implement any law, because here if it is compulsory, then the people are ready to accept it. If it is taken for granted, then people are not ready to accept it. Next is lack of willingness to fulfill those social obligations. In India, the company are not fulfilling the social obligations. Social obligations here means the company are not doing any favor for the customer at large. They are not thinking that they are working in the society, and due to society the company is working, their profit is there, their existence is there. So these are all the reasons of failure in the consumerism in India. Now we are going to discuss different type of acts which is passed by the government to protect the consumers in different ways. Several acts has been passed. Let us discuss one by one. First is Consumer Protection Act, which was passed in 1986. It is aimed to protect the consumer. Second is Industrial Development Regulation Act 1951. It is act which is providing regulation of the industries, how the industries can be established, what are the norms are to be followed in favor of consumers. Third is Indian Contract Act 1872. It aims to protect the consumer, which is having, whenever you are buying or selling any goods, you are having the contract with each other. So if the particular party who is not fulfilling the condition of the contract is violating the contract, so Indian Contract Act will protect the consumers. Essential Commodity Act 1955 is also there to protect the consumer in times of emergencies or in times of vast circumstances like lockdown, curfews. The availability of the particular commodity is less in the market, and due to the shortage of the goods, the prices of the particular commodity will rise. So Essential Commodity Acts is focused that essential commodities should be transported, should not be banned, should not be allowed to hold out. So it is an act to supply the essential commodities without any restrictions. So it will lead to normal price during the unavoidable circumstances. Next is MRTP Act, which is implemented in 1969. Generally what happens, the company who is in the position of monopoly will definitely exploit the consumer, but if there is a severe competition, take the example of Jio. With the entry of Jio, the competition was very severe, and due to that the benefit of the competition has passed on to the consumer. So MRTP Act aims that more and more competition should be then among the companies, so that the ultimate benefit of better products, better quality and cheaper price will be available to the consumer. Next is the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954, which aim that the food should not be adulterated because it is a health hazard. Definitely we have seen the advertisement of Everest too, कि हम अपनी मसाले में आर्टिफिशियल कलर्स का उपयोग नहीं करते, हम कुछ इसमें मिलावट नहीं करते. It means कि other companies might be doing such type of activity. So to prevent the health hazard, Food Adulteration Act comes into existence. Drug Control Act 1940, which restrict the selling of drugs in India, which is quite abusive. to the U2. Next is the Patent Act 1970, which protects the company who has done the research, had spent millions and crores of rupees on research, and definitely the benefit of the research should be passed on to the consumer. But what happens that if the protection is not provided to the company who has done the research, other companies might copy the product and will sell at a cheaper price and cheaper quality. And due to that, the amount of money which has been invested by the company who has discovered the product will not be able to recover the money spent on research and development. So definitely they will not have enough money to go for further research, and due to that the research activity will be stopped out, and due to that new product will not be available to the society in near future. So to protect them, Patent Act 1970 is there. Next is Trade Name and Trademark Act, which gives the protection to the company who are using the particular name. Take for example Samsung, Nokia, Sony, Philips, HTC, Toyota, Maruti Suzuki. This name cannot be used by any other company which are producing similar type of product. And if they want to use that particular name, they will have to give the prior permission from the particular manufacturer. Next is Standard Weight and Measurement Act, which is an act which is protecting the consumer from standard weight. Whenever you are purchasing the product, you have seen the back of the product. They are having the label, and in which label the particular information, what is the gross weight and what is the net weight is written. It is a protection measure in which the consumer is protected. Okay, whatever they are price they are paying and whatever the quantity they should be delivered is delivered to them or not. So it is giving the protection to them. So these are all about the consumerism in India. If you are having any question, definitely you can discuss with me in my WhatsApp number. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.